And what do you want to be hearing from your corner?
Well, a lot of times, you know, it really depends on how focused you are and how much you can let go of the little nuances that you can't control. A lot of times we'll end up having conversations just to make it lighthearted. We'll joke around a little bit here and there. When it comes to this level, when you get to the gold medal matches, it tends to be a little less joking.
And even though they are good friends off the field, it is business for these two. Lico will be part of the U21 division at the World Archery Youth Championships. That'll be in Winnipeg, Canada later in the year. Also as part of that team will be Kaylee Gurney, who was beaten to the bronze by Alexis Ruiz in the compound women division, and Abigail Winterton also managed to be part of that team as well. Emotional scenes from Abigail earlier in the week. Strong start from Lico at the start of end number 3. Early mornings or the afternoon session, which do you prefer when the weather's as warm as it can be and has been the last few days?
For me personally, I tend to prefer the mornings when the heat's coming in, just to give a little bit of reprieve from it, because that sun will take it out of you, and these can be very long days.
And a 10 for Olivia.
Lico doing all she can. A pair of X's to start this third end. Looking to try and keep the pressure up. Well, called a 10, but it's come up as a 9 there. We'll have to get some confirmation. Looks like that's just dropped short from Olivia. So 29-29 at the moment, although it was called on the field as a 10 for Lico, that third arrow. So that would close the gap to 1 point. If that is the case, and you can see Lico there just sheltering in the shade and maybe inviting Olivia over there as well. Olivia's quite happy to stand out in the sunshine. Working on the tan, I think, is the suggestion. There she's showing the whites of her arms as she's trying to get a little bit of sunshine. We're waiting for confirmation. 2 point gap going into end number 3. We've got a lot of other national events coming up over the next few weeks. The next big one, the Hotel Planner Collegiate Target Nationals, May 15th to the 18th. We'll have coverage of that on usarchery.org. And the next in the USAT is the Eastern Foundation SoCal Showdown. That is towards the end of June. So it was upgraded to a 10, 30 for Lico, 1 point the difference, 88-87. And we go into end number 4. How much at this point is as much mental as technical? Now you're getting to ends number 4 and 5, and that 2 point gap has become a 1 point gap for Olivia.
Well, as long as the wind doesn't get too out of hand, the physical doesn't come in as much here. The mental starts playing in to see who actually can let the circumstances affect them. 1 point's really not that big of a deficit, because a single errant shot can just change that right back around and end up in a 1 arrow shoot off.
Looked like another 9 from Olivia. 2 9s to start this 4th end.
Lico is chasing her with a 10.
Lico did turn around after that 9, turned around. Her mum is in the coach's box and just had a little knowing kind of nod as if to suggest she knew exactly what had gone wrong. Corrected it with the 10. Olivia with the X. Needs the 10. Keeping that pressure on. 1 point the difference going into this 4th end. Olivia needs the 10. to keep that advantage going into the 5th and final end of this compound women gold medal match. And she drops it into the 9. So there we have it all square, 1-1-6, 1-1-6, heading into the 5th and final end. And you're right, that 2-point gap became a 1-point gap, and we're now all square going into end number 5.
This just shows the importance of making sure to focus on your shot process and execution and not worrying about anything else.
And we hear that so often, the process, follow the process, and because it's all gone. You know, that bad arrow, that good arrow, not too high with the highs, not too low with the lows, I suspect, is the mantra. And it's amazing how the top level archers are able to just move on and forget about that bad arrow, or that, you know, below their kind of usual standards kind of arrow. And Liko, as I said, after that first arrow, that 9 had landed, turned around, knowing nod to the mum, knew exactly what she'd needed, and she corrected it with 2 10s. Has the conversation changed now between Olivia and Heather, her coach? Bearing in mind there was the 2-point advantage, has that chatty conversation potentially moved to more of a what needs to be done because there isn't that buffer?
It's likely just her reminding her to, you know, stick to her game plan and execute what she's been training to do.
Well, Liko will go first once again on this 5th end. She's got back to all square after trailing by 2 at one stage in this match, looking to go one better than last year when she took silver to Olivia Dean's gold. The same pairing in the gold medal match once again. Liko Ariola was top seed through qualification. That wind, as you can probably hear from the microphones, is picking up a little bit more. Just gone a little high and wide on that one as Liko, for a 9, just opened the door slightly for Olivia Dean. And she's gone left as well. Shake of the head as she turns round to Heather. Fixing that glare, Liko drops it down the middle. Now the pressure is on Olivia Dean. And she comes good
And Olivia with a 10.
with the 10. Down to the final arrow for these two, 135, 135.
Liko with a 10.
Olivia Dean needs the 10 to force the shoot-off. It's a long hold there from Olivia Dean. She's just gone low, but lands the 10. And we have a shoot-off coming up. A little knowing nod there from Liko. Good performance and a smile from Olivia Dean. 145, 145. Some fantastic archery there, a little back and forth, and we're going to have some more. A 1-arrow shoot-off. How are you with shoot-offs? What's your record? I suspect you remember all of those, do you?
I don't really remember each one individually, but I'm normally about 50-50.
Okay.
If I don't have anything that gets into my head, then, you know, I shoot my shot, and as long as it's a good shot, even if I don't, you know, if they get a little bit closer, it's always nice when it comes down to that final measurement and you can get the nod.
Is there any way of working on, like those high pressure moments in any sport, is there any way of working on a shoot-off scenario in practice?
Honestly, the best thing is to find somebody else that you can compete with, just to put that little bit of edge in.
Okay. Because it is a scenario that crops up more often than not. In other words, you know, you could go through, you know, a number of shoot-offs within the elimination bracket. So it happens quite a bit. In other words, you best be prepared for it. And these two, well, I hope they're prepared for it. Liko Ariola, Olivia Dean, 15 arrows down. And they can't be separated. 145, 145. Liko will fire down the first arrow into the 10.
Goes in with the 10.
Now can Olivia get closer? Looks like she can.
Olivia matches that and goes with the
And
next.
there's the smile from Olivia Dean. And a big hug. And Olivia Dean retains her Gator Cup title, won 12 months ago against Liko Ariola, who came from 2 points down to force the shoot off. And Olivia Dean will join us in just a few moments. We're hoping to get her onto the headset, and we'll hopefully hear from her shortly. We're going to try and guide her to the headset if we can. Might need to let her know. Well, she's just being given the instructions. And into position. And I'm hoping that we'll shortly be able to hear from the winner. As she puts on the headset. If you turn around, Olivia, there's a camera to your left. Turn around, right round the other way. And again, turn around one more time. There we go. There we go. That's the camera. Can you? Well, congratulations. You are defending champion, and you have won it again. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It was the same exact match as last year, and I think we shot the same. I shot the same exact score, so I knew it was going to be a tough match. Liko is a great shooter, so I just wanted to come out here and make strong shots, and I think I did well with my goal, so I'm happy.
What was going through your mind? Yeah, that 2 point gap, and then that was obviously it was kind of washed away by Liko. What was going through your mind as you went into that fifth and final end, having that lead eroded away?
Yeah, of course I had that lead, and I still was making good shots, and I was talking to Heather, my coach, and like all of them were like 9.9s just out, so there wasn't really much I could do about it, so I just tried to focus on the moment and not think about the outcome, and I feel like I handled it well.
And the conditions here, obviously the heat, the temperature, the wind picked up a little bit on this finals field. How are the conditions?
They were okay. It was more wind by the targets and not so much on our bodies, so it wasn't pushing me so much, so I just had to make smart decisions, watch the wind, and aim off well.
And a little bit more pressure coming in as defending champion? I mean, look, you've retained the title, so clearly the pressure didn't play a part. But were you feeling a little bit more expectation knowing that you'd won it last year?
I don't think just because I won this shoot last year I had pressure. I think I had such a good USAT season last year, so I kind of wanted to continue that into this year. In Arizona, I struggled a bit, so I guess there was pressure a little bit to get my performance where I wanted it to be, but I think that I did well with it and didn't let it bother me too much.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations once again,
you.
Olivia, and all the best for the World Cup in a few weeks as you head off to China. Olivia Dean there, your 2025 Gator Cup champion in the compound women division.
Nice shooting, dude.
Next coming up, we have got two giants of the compound division in a world of giants. I mean, this week we've had Jimmy and obviously Sawyer's been in there and Isaac Sullivan, and there's some big compound archers from the United States, but obviously Mikey Schlosser and Matthias Fullerton, who will be taking to the field shortly as part of the compound men gold medal match. We've got the man from the Netherlands and the man from Denmark, and Mikey Schlosser this week 7-1-8 in qualification. Talk us through that, Douglas. Talk us through 7-1-8. And it's not the first time that Mikey has done that. I think it's the third time that Mike Schlosser has equaled Braden Gellantine's world record of 718. Talk about what is needed to get near that score.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really phenomenal score, and there's a reason why it's held at that number for so long, because it is hard to shoot that well. And Mikey just, whether it's windy or not windy, he just seems to find his groove, and unless he's getting blown all over the place, he just keeps dropping them right in the middle of that X-ring.
And we knew that he was getting close. We knew that there was the potential for either a new world record or equaling the current world record. So we were told to get into position and capture that moment after the final arrow and that arrow number 72, trying to get the emotion. He turned around as if it just walked out of his front door. It was amazing to capture that moment where you just think, this is how cool and collected you need to be at this level. You can't be jumping around, and that level of calm from Mike Schlosser was there for all to see. And here we go, underway for the compound men. He really is kind of just in the zone, and he turned around and it was very matter of fact. The smile did come out eventually, but he was very matter of fact, having equaled Braden's record.
Schlossler also has an X.
Some of the scores going up.
Fullerton chasing him with an X.
Goodness me. We'll catch back up with the scoring. Just a little glitch on our part, so apologies for that. But they are going toe-to-toe, these two.
And that wind just picked up at those last 2 arrows, too.
So Jimmy Lutz and Sawyer Sullivan are the men behind the gold medalists. Well, the gold medal, those aspiring to be the gold medalists, should I say. Smile there from Mike Schlosser. And Jimmy Lutz, who were champion, of course, a few weeks ago at AAE Arizona Cup. And Sawyer Sullivan is chatting away to Matthias Fullerton. This also a repeat of the Arizona Cup gold medal match from 12 months ago, 2024. And I believe Matthias came out on top in that one. And he's got his nose in front here by just the 1 point. But 5 X's and a 9. And as you say, the wind picked up a little bit. Didn't seem to kind of phase these guys. And from an archer's perspective, because as we're looking down the lane here, the wind can obviously misbehave in different areas. It can be swirling. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the windsock? Are you looking at the feather banners? Are you feeling the breeze against your own body? What are the telltale signs?
You're actually looking for all of those. And in an event like this where you have a tree behind the targets, you can even use that as an additional to see if it's changing as it goes down the field.
Schlosser from the Netherlands will get us underway, end number 2. This is the second match of the gold medal matches this afternoon at the 2025 Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup. He starts with a 10. The man from the Netherlands, Matthias Fullerton. His 4th 10 in a row. Maintaining that slender advantage. The highest quality. And these two will also be representing their nations at the World Cup Stage 2 when it moves to China in a few weeks. Mike with the Netherlands, Matthias with Denmark. And they are also regulars on the USAT circuit as well here in the United States. As we said, the next one is the SoCal Showdown, June 20th to the 22nd, and then the Rebel Gear Buckeye Classic, July 25th to the 27th. He's just gone wide again. Or should I say he's just got a 10, having gone wide as Matthias, so 29-29, so maintains that 1 point advantage, does the Great Dane.
Matthias actually just made some adjustments to his sight in that too to help compensate for the way the wind is moving or a little bit more.
And it looks like the wind, I mean, if we're going to go by the banners, it looks like the wind is from going left to right, it's almost straight behind us now. Because those banners are starting to straighten up. So a rundown of the events coming up over the next few weeks. And registration are open for all of these. The Collegiate Target Nationals, that's presented by Hotel Planner. Field Nationals, June 13th to the 15th. That is back in Noblesville, Indiana. Eastern Foundation SoCal Showdown, June 20th to the 22nd. Win and Win, Joad Target Nationals and Joad US Open, July 16th to the 20th. And then that Rebel Gear Buckeye Classic, 25th to the 27th of July. usarchery.org for registration details. We get set for end number 3, all square, 59.59 between these two. The number 1 seed, Mike Schlosser, and the number 3 seed, Matthias Fullerton.
Mike with a 10.
Just getting some clarification, confirmation from Jimmy Lutz as to where that one landed.
Fullerton with an X.
A reminder, they are at 50 meters for compound. That'll be for the same for Barebow, and they come up in just a few moments. Barebow women and then Barebow men. And then we'll push back to 70 meters for Recurve. 10, 10, X, X.
Mike with another 10.
So maximum from Schlosser. Same for Fullerton.
Matthias with a 10. Let's give these boys some
Just
joy.
1 point drop by both of these archers, 89-89. When you say, because you would, as we're looking at this field now, you were down to the left-hand side, further down the left. We're far right on this compound field. Where were you? We're looking at from left to right. Target number 1 in the far corner of this field. What targets were you on today?
I was down on target 6.
Okay.
And
And how was the wind behaving? Because there's a wall, there's houses in that may create a bit of a shield. How was the breeze down there behaving?
well, it's a little different down there because with the way the fence is beyond it and some of the buildings down there. So like right now you can even see the windsock here is almost pointing straight down towards the targets, and the one on the other side is pointed almost 45 degrees our way in
Yeah.
downrange.
Yeah. Yeah, the one down to the far side is left to right, and this one is north to south. I mixed up my compass there. I should have gone west to east, north to south, rather than left to right, north to south. But there we go. I think we all understood. And number 4. All square. The last match went to a 1-arrow shoot-off. Olivia Dean coming out with gold. Lika Areola
Next.
with silver. Schlosser landing yet another X.
Matthias with a 10.
That's a 10, just caught the line.
Mike coming back with another
Nice and
X.
cozy in there from Mike Schlosser. Another X.
Matthias with another 10.
10 from Matthias. Oh, that's a grouping there. Look at that.
With another X.
119 after 4 ends for Schlosser. And it's all square.
Matthias with another 10.
And this just shows the work that Mikey can do, because I mean those arrows are probably all touching in that X ring down there.
Just phenomenal, isn't it? Absolutely outstanding. And I'm not being flippant when I say this, but the level that these guys are they disappointed with a 9? I mean,
It really depends on the weather conditions. I mean, if the wind's blowing really bad, they're not really disappointed with it. But I mean, if there's no wind, like most of these guys can put all 6 arrows in the X-ring.
Yeah. And that's my point. I think that's my point. In other words, that is the level these guys are at.
Yes,
If it's going to be a 10, there's more often than not, it's going to be an X.
that's correct.
1 point dropped from both of these archers, 119, 119. And they all know each other out there. They compete nationally here. Obviously, a Dane and a Dutchman out there, and 2 Americans in the boxes. They compete in the events on this side of the pond, but they compete for their countries as well, all around the world. Very familiar with one another. Hence, we saw plenty of smiles there between all parties as we go into end number 5. Nothing to separate these two. 3 X's from Mike Schlosser in end number 4. Where's he going with this one?
Mike with a 9.
That's gone high. Fullerton will sense an opportunity here. And he's landed the 10. A little yep from Sawyer Sullivan. So advantage to the Dane.
Mike matches ace 10.
Just to maintain the advantage to go into with the final arrow.
Matthias with another 10.
Okay, well the best that Mike Schlosser can do is 148. And hope that Matthias just drops his game.
Mike with an X.
He's going to rue that first arrow if Fullerton can land it in the 10 ring. And he can't.
Matthias with a 9.
He's put it wide. 148, 148. We are going to have another shoot-off.
Okay, the boys.
And if you look at both of those 9s, they both went high. And the wind's coming from behind us, so it could have played a little bit of a factor in that.
Well, maybe that's what Mike Schlosser is indicating there, that it just got a little bit wayward. So for the second match in a row of the gold medal matches on this finals day in Newberry, Florida, we are going to have a 1-arrow shoot-off between Mike Schlosser and Matthias Fullerton. Coming up, we have Cindy Zacco and Ava Jones in the Barebow women. It'll be followed by Brian Way and Patrick Fisk, and then on to Recurve. Alex Zaleta-Visser and Catalina Ginoriega, teammates on the World Cup stage. And then Christian Stoddart and Trenton Cowles, again, 2 teammates for the USA. That'll be wrapping things up here in Florida with the Recurve men gold medal match. Barebow, both the gold medal matches 1 and 2 seeds. And the highest seed in this event, Alex Zaleta-Visser, number 9 in the Recurve women. So here we have the shoot-off. Mike Schlosser to go first on target number 1. He's seen plenty of X's, and he's put that one pretty close as well.
Mike with an X.
Let's see where Matthias can put his response. And it'll be a 9, so Mike Schlosser will take the gold medal here in Florida at the Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup. The number 1 seed equaled the world record in qualification with a 7.18, and he is now going to be crowned the Gator Cup champion for 2025. And we will hear from Mike very, very soon, if we can get him into position. So gold for Mike Schlosser, Matthias Fullerton with silver, and I believe Jimmy Lutz took bronze. So I think we've got Mike on the headset. Mike,
hi there.
You've had quite a week. 718. Talk us through. Well, talk us through that first, because I was looking into that. That's not the first time you've got 718. How are you feeling throughout that entire process?
It was of course a great qualification round. I just came here getting ready for next week World Cup in Florida and Shanghai. I mean, and I'm just getting ready with it and just getting a good feeling, and that definitely helped with a good qualification. And then the matches today was amazing, so I'm really happy.
Matthias is a heck of a competitor. I mean, you two going out there slugging it 148, 148, and it goes to a one-arrow shoot-off. Just talk about the quality within the compound division.
Yeah, it's, if you have a good score, have a good day, that doesn't mean that you're going to win it at the end. You have to like really show up, and everybody like that comes to these events can definitely shoot a good 15 arrows. It's like you really need to show your A game and the average level of a compound man here at these USAT events. So it's insane.
And we were talking about conditions, because you obviously qualification on this field. Was this the conditions misbehaving? Were they different where we are positioned on this finals field? Was there a little bit of an adjustment from you?
Yesterday was a bit quieter than this today. This morning was that calm, so the first couple matches was really easy. Weather-wise, and then from there on, like the last matches, it got a bit harder because the wind picked up a bit. And this finals venue here it was kind of tricky because the wind would come from the left a couple arrows and it would come from right from a couple arrows. So you really got to trust your gut and try to aim off in some arrows.
Mike, congratulations and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
There's Mike Schlosser, the gold medalist for the 2025 Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup, and he talks about that. And again, you know, there's those margins. There's just the margins that they recognise, their adjustments, but you've got to do it. I mean, just talk about having to do that as an archer on the fly. You're making those minute adjustments, very, very subtle adjustments. Talk about that process as well.
Yeah, it is very minute in some cases. I mean, like depending on where the wind is, you know, you're not necessarily holding off much at their level. You know, some of us need to hold off a little bit more, but guys like Mike Schlosser, he may very well be holding off to like the left side of the 10 ring as opposed to, you know, the 9-8 line to try and keep it in the center.
Well, we are almost set for the Barebow category. And it's going to be Texas versus Kentucky. Cindy Zacco against Ava Jones. And two, again, phenomenal archers. Cindy was, I mean, just so consistent in 2024. Winner of this event, winner of Arizona Cup in 2024, and winner of SoCal. I did see her at SoCal and said, so you're going for the 4-peat? Nope, she didn't even enter Buckeye. I think she was there as a coach. But she is back in the gold medal match once again, and Ava Jones, who done so well in the indoor scene as well. Tremendous young talent is Ava Jones. And we have these two to get us started in the Barebow division. And Cindy, who's left-handed, so we've got a lefty and a righty on this one. And they'll be at 50 meters, 122 centimeter target face. And similar to Recurve, it's a 12.2 centimeter 10 ring in diameter.
Cindy leading with a 9.
9 for Cindy.
Eva and
An X for Ava Jones.
Cindy come back with a 10.
With a 10. It's calmed down a little bit as well, that breeze. And the feather banners are just a little bit more, behaving a little bit better.
Cindy with an 8. Eva matching her with an 8.
So a strong start from Ava Jones there. I mean, starting with an X with Barebow. Talk us through that as a strong start. Again, normally there's a bit of a sighter. Normally you're kind of finding your way with the first couple of arrows. To land an X with your first arrow, talk us through that in terms of that level of quality.
That takes a lot of skill and focus, especially with a barebow, because you don't have the sight to dial in and see exactly where you're putting it. It's more about the feel and how you do follow through with the execution on it.
It's the set system as well. It's not cumulative points, unlike compound. So similar to recurve, so 1 point apiece, 27 they both scored, so they'll share the points. 2 points if you score more than your opponent, and 0 if you score less. So there's, say, 2 points up for grabs, 1 point apiece, and we go into end number 2. Nine, 10, and an 8. X 9 and an 8. These scores from
Cindy in with a 9.
9 for Cindy.
Ava coming back with a 10.
Starting strong once again. Ava Jones with a 10.
Cindy with a 10.
You can probably hear in the background responding. Cindy Zacco with another 10, looking to hold on to the title she won. And I believe Arizona Cup and Gator Cup were both went to shoot-offs. She'll be hoping that that's not the case this time around.
Ava with an 8. Correction, that was Cindy with an 8. Ava with a 9.
Points were shared after the first end. Looking to see which of these two can edge in front. And Cindy is the one that's taken the 2 points in this second end. 3 points to 1. First to 5. So Ava Jones playing catch up.
But it's not hard to play catch up in a set match.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's a little bit more forgiving than the cumulative compound. You get 5, 6, 7 points behind in that, and it can be very difficult to catch up. But Ava Jones puts that last set behind her, starts again, looking to get back to 3-3, and Cindy looking to wrap things up for the repeat. Ava Jones on target number 2 will get us underway on end number 3.
Ava starts at 7.
8-9 lineup.
Cindy with a 7. Ava coming back with a 10.
Ava with the 10.
Cindy with a 9.
9 for Cindy Zacco. Big arrow from Ava Jones, looking to put some pressure on Cindy Zacco.
On the 9-10 line.
And just like that, it's back 3-3 now.
There we go. That's how
Give these ladies some love.
that's how it can turn. And exhale from Cindy Zacco. She stretches and rolls her neck, just loosens herself up a little bit for what's going to be an interesting fourth end. All smiles from Ava Jones. And these are long days as well, aren't they? They're long. I mean, you guys are out. You're out for a long time during qualification, and you hope to be out for a long time during elimination as well. But sometimes that doesn't always go to plan. But again, just talk about that mental side, the mental side of focusing and concentrating for so many hours.
Yeah, one of the keys to being able to focus for that long is to just make sure that you can maintain, your body temperature and your hydration levels, because you don't want your blood pressure to go up or down too much. You don't want your blood sugars to go up or down too much. And the first thing to go if you get dehydrated is your vision.
3-3 into end number 4. Interesting to see the body language. Cindy was a little bit down, seemed a little bit down. She kind of let out a long, large exhale as she got back to her coach's corner, and Ava was all smiles. Obviously going from 3-1 down to 3-3. Let's see how much Cindy can put that behind her, or whether Ava is on the ascendancy. Well, I'm calling her Cindy. And Joanna goes by Cindy as well. And Joanna Zacco, Cindy Zacco, just in case there was any confusion from what you're seeing on the screen.
Eva with an
9-9 to start.
Cindy with a 7.
7 for Cindy Zacco. A slap of the bow there from Ava. And some adjustments. I'm not sure whether she's got some problems with her equipment there. She's having to get the arrow in there. She gave the 9 for Cindy. Let's see whether it's the equipment misbehaving.
And Ava matches her with a 9.
And there we go, look at that. I mean, just where else do you see that? Where else in sport do you see that? There is a malfunction, it appears, for Ava Jones. And Cindy reaches into her pocket. There we have the equipment to help her rival for the gold medal. And now some very quick adjustments for Ava Jones, who's just got that one, 26-25 for a 5-3.
Yeah,
So it's gonna go
every
to a fifth
archer
end.
wants to have a fair bout, and they want their opponent to do their best, so that when you win, you did everything you did, and they did everything they could do.
Well, that said, she got a 9-8-9 with a bit of an equipment malfunction. Cindy needs this to take it to a shoot-off. A 5th and final end.
Cindy, late.
8 to start.
Ava brings next, though.
Well, seems to have done the trick, correcting the equipment. An X for Ava Jones.
Cindy comes back with a net 10. Ava matches her with a 10.
2 points the difference. Cindy needs a 10 and just hopes that Ava Jones,
Cindy with an 8.
an 8. So that is 26.
Ava shoots a 9.
And a 9 for Ava Jones. And it'll be gold medal for Ava Jones. The defending champion Cindy Zacco will settle for silver. An incredible
Let's give these ladies a nice
sportsmanship from Cindy Zacco there. Handing the equipment. I know, that's archery, that's Barebow. It's a huge community. And big smiles now. But again, I dare say there's very few sports where you're going to hand your rival a piece of equipment to correct their equipment that will then help them beat you in the final.
Our runner-up for the 2020
Yes, these are some phenomenal women out here.
Gator Cup Barebow women will be Cindy Zacco.
I'm going to speak to Ava Jones.
Gold medalist
I'm going to try and get her to the headset. Just getting the headset on.
once our field is ready, we will be welcoming the Barebow men to the stage, so please stay tuned.
Okay. Hello, Ava, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wow, what a performance. Just talk us through, well, first of all, talk us through what was going wrong with the bow. What was going wrong with the equipment towards the end?
Something was rattling. I think it was just a set screw in my plunger.
And then talk us through just what it means and that sense of camaraderie that Cindy reaches into a pocket and gives you a tool to fix it.
That was amazing. She's amazing.
Talk us through the match then. I mean, you started strong with that X, and that's something that maybe we weren't expecting. Sometimes there's a bit of a sighter with Barebow. You're kind of finding your way. How did you get off to such a strong start?
We was practicing over there, and I think that's got me going strong.
And coming over to a different field, and Douglas Godfrey's alongside me, and Compound was on this field. You guys were Barebow and Recurve were on a different field. Was there an adjustment period? I mean, you seem to settle down pretty quickly, but was this field behaving differently than the one you've been on all week?
No, I don't think so.
And what does this mean? Gold at Gator Cup and against Cindy, who is the defending champion. Talk us through that.
It's pretty cool. She's a really great shooter.
And what about for the rest of the year? And how many more USATs? How many more events can we expect to see Ava Jones? And we were talking beforehand, a tremendous talent, and we're so proud and pleased to have you. How many more events can we see you at this year?
I think 2 more this year.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations, Ava, gold medalist, and up against Cindy Zacco. Thank you so much, Ava Jones. Congratulations, talking to us there, and again, just. The level of compound that we've seen, the level of Barebow, we see there the camaraderie. We talk about that community within, and you'll hear the cheer go up. That interview, of course, brought to you by Novum. The cheer that goes up within the Barebow community, Barebow, and they really is that togetherness, and we saw it. We saw it right there in a gold medal match of all matches.
Oh yes, definitely.
And I know you guys on the compound, you guys in the para division, there is that community within the communities. How important is that you can rely on each other? There is that rivalry, but there is that camaraderie as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal because even in between them, so like some of the pros, as paras will come up and we'll talk to them and ask them some questions, and they don't hesitate to give us answers and help us out. And we'll do the same for them if there's anything we know.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, you'd love to say that's the way it should be, but of course we know in so many fields it's certainly not. Well, we are now on to Barebow men, and this is again number 1 and number 2 seed as we saw in Barebow women. It'll be Brian Way, the defending champion from Wisconsin, against Patrick Fisk of Arizona. And Patrick will be on target number 2. Brian will be on target number 1. As they are presented to the crowd. We'll try and keep you up to speed on all the points. Our system's gone a little bit glitchy on this end, but we're doing our best to make sure that you are up to date on all the scores as they land in the target. End number 1. And Patrick, left-hander, gets us started.
Patrick starts us off at the 7.
7 for Patrick to start.
And Brian brings an 8.
Brian with the 8. A little wry smile from Brian there as his 8 landed. Maybe, again, just adjusting. And those banners are almost still. Just one of them has got any motion.
Brian with another 8.
Another 8 for Brian. Patrick with his 3rd and final arrow of this first end.
Patrick with a 10.
He's just had a few sighters as Patrick, and does well with his 3rd one, landing in a 10.
He matches it with a 10.
And Brian does as well. So it looks like Brian's taken the first set And it is different. You know, you talk to some of the archers that come out here and they've been competing in qualification and then eliminations, and you come out onto here and you've got the field set out as it is. There's more focus, there's more attention, there's more judges, there's more officials, there's cameras. It can take a little bit of time, even for those that have been around the archery scene for a long time. Just trying to block all of that out and focus on the target can take 1 or 2 arrows to get into the rhythm.
Oh, definitely.
What's the situation that you've been in? What's the most stressful? I mean, because that is the same sport, it's archery, but it's out of your comfort zone, maybe in a higher stakes situation.
The irony for me is my 2 most stressful situations was, one, just a head-to-head match with a single arrow shoot-off in a team trials event, and the other one was a gold medal match for the 2022 Para-Pan Am Archery Championships.
Wow.
And it's it's something at that high of a level and something that you wouldn't think be as high, but can be just as stressful.
Because you say it's the same sport, and you guys are trained to block everything out, but there's a certain level where things just look different.
Definitely.
Your surroundings look a little different. Here we are, end number 2 then. 2-0 Brian Way against Patrick Fisk. But Patrick finishing strong. Although that 6 needs to put that to the back of his mind.
Brian with the 10.
Brian, though, just turning the screw a little bit. He's been on these finals fields a few times as Brian Way.
Patrick shoots a 9.
9. That's a big improvement.
Another 10.
Brian with another 10.
It looks like Brian Way is very much in the zone now, doesn't it? 20 points to Patrick's 15.
Patrick shoots an 8.
6, 9, and 8.
And Brian with a 9.
29 from Brian Way. That's a 4-0 advantage for Brian, the defending champion. As Patrick, there's moments. There's been a couple of 9s, a couple of 10s. Those 6s are hurting him though, and it's tough when you start with a 6 and your opponent then starts with a 10. You're playing catch up throughout that set.
Yes, yeah, that can be very tough. But again, with the set system, just if he can put 3 well-aimed shots down in the next one, he can take 2 points back.
It ain't over till it's over. Yeah. And it's warm out there. I do make the mistake with the archers when I'm walking down the line and how are you feeling? Yeah, could do with a little bit more breeze. And of course, that's the worst thing you could say to an archer. Purely from a selfish point of view, I'd love it to be a little bit more breezy. It's incredibly warm. And I get the look, I think they've got used to me now, but I used to get the look of, really? You're saying that to us? But thankfully, the breeze is helping. Because it's going almost south to north. It's behind them.
Patrick shoots a 7.
7 for Patrick.
Brian with a 9.
Brian just knows what he needs to do to keep his nose in front.
Patrick's second arrow was a 10.
There we go. Just keeping things interesting.
Brian's was a 9.
18 plays 17. Big arrow from Patrick here. Needs a 10. And the head goes down. On a 10, I believe, from Brian Way. So Brian is the champion for the second year in a row. Patrick Fisk, silver medalist from Arizona. A phenomenal week from Patrick as well. And the second seed, Brian Way, the number 1 seed, defending champions, retained his title here and will be crowned the 2025 Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup champion once again in the Barebow men's division. And we are getting set to just get confirmation as the signal goes up from our judges down the field.
Make some noise, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
Brian will be escorted to the microphone, and we hope to hear from Brian Way, the gold medalist, very, very soon.
Patrick Fiss. That means your gold medal winner is Brian Way.
Confirmation, Brian Way, winner in 2025. He's just put the headset on. Brian, can you hear us?
I can.
Congratulations, you've done it again, retained your title. How does this one compare to 2024?
You know, a little less nerve-wracking, better experience coming into it, and shooting some backwoods composite limbs this year, and they're really smoking for me. So,
Well, talk us through that. Talk us through why this year's different. I mean, I was here with Douglas Godfrey Jr., and we're just talking whether this stage can be a little unnerving, bearing in mind what you've been through in qualification and eliminations. And that experience last year set you in good stead for this time around?
yeah, I think so. Like anything, the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. Here I'm tripping over my own words, but yeah, you just get more comfortable with it. But heck, I could still I could feel the arrow vibrating on the plunger button as I was drawing back. So the nerves, they never really go away.
And talk about Patrick. He's had a phenomenal week as well. You two top seeds, 1 and 2. Just talk about his performance. And obviously you had your nose in front, but it's not easy out there. And I imagine he had a few nerves as well.
I'm sure he did. If he didn't, more power to him. But yeah, he did really great in the team rounds earlier. Got me in that one, and been watching him shoot all weekend. He's been nailing it. So
You had a great 2024. How does this kind of set you up for the rest of the outdoor season?
well, it's a good place to start, first shoot of the year, and looking forward to getting some more of them.
Brilliant. Brian, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us. There is your Gator Cup champion for the Barebow men. That interview brought to you by Novum. Thank you so much to Brian Way. He is the champion once again. So we have 4 down, 2 to go. The recurve division coming up. Alex Zuleta-Visser and Catalina Ginoriega. That'll be the recurve women. Then finishing off Christian Stoddart against Trenton Cowles. Just talk us through, give us a summary of what we've seen so far. We've seen a couple of shoot-offs. We've seen obviously a back and forth, an equipment malfunction for Ava, and then obviously Brian marching through there. We've kind of had a mixed bag of performances and displays this afternoon so far.
Yes, definitely. And in fact, you even heard the Barebow from the Barebow women's side that they were saying that for them the wind didn't seem to be much of a factor. But then again, with the recurves and the Barebows, they're holding that full draw weight at the rear. So they've got more pressure that they're exerting against the wind in the first place, whereas the compounders, that's why those guys put so much weight on their bows to help stabilize in the wind.
So when you're not shooting here, what are you doing? Because I know you're only about 20 minutes away from here. What is life like outside of archery for you?
Well, I mean, I'm retired from the military, and I run a pine farm down here. I mean, I say I run it, but, you know, my wife and I manage some timberlands, and so I do some archery training, and I coach for some shooting as well.
15 years in the military.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. So thank you for your service and your performance this week. Are you happy? What do you have to work on? Because you got the space, as you say, you got all of that land to go and practice. So what will you be practicing on over the next few weeks?
A lot of it's just, you know, getting more time in, comfortable with the bow, maybe trying to tune it for a little bit more forgiveness. So when the breeze does pick up, it's, you know, not as likely to go as far out of the way, and just work on that to make sure that, you know, I keep my head in the game every step of the way.
We are just, of course, putting the targets back to 70 meters. I'm sorry at what you're looking at on your screen. It's Douglas, of course, is the handsome one. We have put it back to 70 meters for recurve. Again, that from 50 to 70. You've clearly got more room for error. You've got more room for the elements to become a factor. And what are we expecting to see in terms of quality from Alex and Catalina, Christian and Trenton, 4 of the best in that division?
Oh yeah, they're some phenomenal archers. I mean, I've shot Olympic recurve at 70 meters, and for me, it's not pretty. So I have great respect for what these archers are able to do at this distance.
Number 9 seed Alex Zuleta-Visser from Florida, Catalina Ginoriega, California, the 9th seed and the 2nd seed will be wandering into the arena very, very soon. 2 archers part of the World Cup team that were in Florida a few weeks ago, just south of Orlando, in between Orlando and Tampa. And they'll be heading to Shanghai in China for World Cup Stage 2 in a few weeks. Catalina, I believe, if memory serves me right, was the silver medalist here last year. Jennifer Messino Fernandez won gold. And for the second USAT in a row, we don't have Casey Koffold. Casey was knocked out in the, where was that? The semi-final stage. Casey picked up bronze medal, and it was Catalina that defeated Casey Koffold, who was the number 3 seed. Catalina, the number 2 seed. 6-4 win for Catalina. Catalina with also with wins over Virginie Chenier from Canada, 6-4. And Alex beating the number 1 seed at the quarterfinal stage, Akshara Vijay, the teenager, 6-4 as well. So here we are, target number 2, Catalina getting us underway in the recurve gold medal match. I'm starting with a 9. Alex with a 9 as well. Wearing her, so kind of her piece is the bucket hat for Alex. Wearing that, and the shades as well. Another 9 for Catalina. Turning round, got her dad in the coach's box. Alex with arrow number 2.
Alex shoots a 10.
On the 10. Another big week for the recurve archers as well. The qualification. 9.99 for Catalina. Qualification was the World Cup, World Championship, should I say. So 2 points for Alex, 29 to 27. It was stage 2 of the World Championships trials for the US team in the recurve division. That was qualification this week in Florida. It was also stage 1 for the World Para Championships. 3 and 4 for recurve will be at SoCal. We'll have all of the stages for compound at SoCal Showdown, and the remaining stages for the Para division as well. It's a massive year this year for World Championships. We've got the World Archery Championships in September. Later in that month, the World Para Championships. Both of those in Korea. The World Youth Championships take place in Canada in August, as do the World Games in China, the Junior Pan Am Games in Paraguay, and the World University Games taking place in Germany in July. So it is a jam-packed international calendar year, and outside of that, of course, the USAT events, the Field Nationals, the JOAD Target and JOAD US Open, and then the Target Nationals and US Open. So lots of archery over the next few months, and high quality, high-end archery, as Alex takes the lead after that first set. Catalina going first once again. Didn't put too much wrong, 3 9s, but 2 10s and a 9 for Alex.
Catalina shoots a 9.
Another 9. Slight adjustment there for Catalina. Back into position.
Yeah, because all 4 of her arrows went to the same part of the target.
Let's see if the improvement has helped. Or see if the adjustment has helped, should I say.
Yep.
Catalina places an X.
Well, as you say, there's the answer. Didn't even look round at her dad, just nodded. Her dad nodded at the same time. They're on the same wavelength. As you say, silver last year for Catalina, looking to go one better. Alex obviously looking to win on say, home soil as a Florida girl.
Catalina shoots a 10.
29 then from that 27, so the adjustments seem to work.
And Alex has a 9.
Looks like it's all tied up then. Under the shade, it's getting it is getting a little warm. We're getting that time of day now.
Let's give these ladies some noise while we're waiting.
3:20 Eastern Time on a Sunday afternoon. And there are clouds in the sky, as you can see, but the heat has not been, and look, you live around here, and of course I'm speaking as somebody that lives out of state, but so me complaining about the temperature, of course, it's like, you come back in July when it's humid as well. And of course, the Gator Cup is often middle of May.
Correct.
Normally Mother's Day, and of course the heat can be a little bit more, and the humidity can be a factor as well. So I think that was the locals' kind way of saying you're getting off lightly. It could be worse. So 2-2 after 2 ends, all square between these two. Catalina with those adjustments, fired in a 29 last time around, including 1x, a 10 and a 9. And she'll get end number 3 underway.
Cat with a 9.
9, maybe a little bit of a longer hold there from Catalina. Alex looking to respond.
Alex shoots a 7.
7 for Alex. And again, the set system, it's 2-2. Still plenty of archery to play.
Catalina places an X.
An X, although you wouldn't think so from that response from Catalina. She had a bit of a kind of a twisted mouth, as if she'd put a foot wrong, but 7 and a 9, a 9 and an X. Very much in Catalina's court.
Catalina shoots a 9.
And a 9 for Catalina, 28. The best that Alex can do is 26.
And Alex has a 7.
Alex with another 7, so 4-2. From 2-0 down to 4-2. Catalina. Both of them under the shade now.
Catalina didn't look very happy with her final shot either, but I think with the winds picking up a little bit from right to left, that might be what's pushing their arrows around just a little bit.
And it's almost turned a 180, hasn't it? From going left to right, it's now going right to left, and it was going front to back at one point. So, and the other thing, again, intriguing, the feather banners are going to behave maybe differently than the windsock. They might be a little bit more sensitive. They might be twisting and turning. So again, what are your indicators?
So, and down here on this end, you've got the feathers. They're going to be a little more reactive, and with those, you can use them to see if the 5 from front to back are changing different from each other. The windsock will give you a little bit because it doesn't move quite as easily. And down here, you have the benefit of the American flag. So you have a couple different indicators to see just how strong the wind is at different levels down the field.
Which ones do you trust? I mean, do you try and go somewhere down the middle? Do you try and kind of equal them out? If one's a little bit more lively and one's less so, which one is your prime indicator?
That'll primarily just determine how much it can be affected the further it goes down.
Alex getting end number 4, starting with a 9. Into strong set. Does Alex on this one? Catalina 4-2 up.
Catalina shoots a 10.
Pressure is on Alex Zuleta-Visser, the number 9 seed.
Alex with a 9.
Another 9, strong, solid, consistent. But she's probably going to be looking for 10 with her final arrow.
Catalina with a 9.
She needs a 10. A 9 may not be enough. Catalina for the win with a 10. The hold, she's holding, 3 seconds to go.
Catalina lands a 5.
A 5, there was a long hold there. So it's 4-4. I'm trying to think, what was the wind? Didn't seem to be much breeze there. It was a longer hold than, she was down to about 3 seconds on the clock, was Catalina. We've now made a game of it, Douglas.
And that definitely emphasizes the importance of the set system and how quickly it can go back and forth.
2-0 down. Catalina was 4-2 up and in the driving seat, starting with a 10 and a 9 on that 4th end. And then a long hold, and she drops a 5.
The ladies have tied it up.
4-4.
Please give them some noise as they go into the next end.
5th and final end. And if they're all square after this, we'll have a 1-arrow shoot-off. And this couldn't be a greater example of putting that 5 behind you, putting that almost, well, on the brink of winning gold. It's a new set of arrows for Catalina and for Alex. And Catalina to go first.
Catalina places a 10.
Starts with a 10. Alex to respond.
Alex matches her 10.
Okay, there we go. It's going to be like that, is it? 10, 10.
Catalina shoots another 10.
Nod of approval from Catalina. Over to you, Alex Zuleta-Visser.
Alex shoots an 8.
Advantage, Catalina.
Catalina shoots a 9.
9 for Catalina. 29.
Alex brings in an 8.
And the gold medal. It was that 8 with arrow number 2 that hurt Alex Zuleta-Visser. So Catalina, from silver last year, has won gold in 2025. And we'll look to grab a quick word with the gold medalist shortly. They're just having their photos taken. Coach is out of the way, and we'll get Catalina to the point. As the number 2 seed this week, we're just waiting for her. There we go, we're just being told she's on the way. Just putting the equipment down into position so we can see her on the camera.
Our runner-up for the 2025 Houston Foundation's Gator Cup Recurve Women.
Catalina, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Congratulations. I believe it was silver last year,
Thanks.
gold, you've gone one better, but There were a few moments there. Talk us through that 5 and what you did to kind of turn things around for that 5th and final end, which was such a strong end.
Yeah, I mean, the 5 was a little bit of an oopsies. Like, I held a little bit too long and just didn't really do my shot. So I just kind of, like, told myself to recommit and, like, focus again and be aggressive with my shots, and it worked out, yeah.
Talk us through the adjustments. I think you were kind of little turnaround to your dad. You're making some adjustments at the end of the first set. What was needed?
Yeah, I just was all high in the first time, so I just gave my side a few clicks, and yeah, you know, for second end, high 9 as well, and then I was able to like hit the 10, and I knew I was like sided in as well. Like, I don't know, just maybe like the conditions maybe a little bit different, or like the nerves make you shoot a little bit different, but yeah, I just adjusted for that, and it was all good.
What's worked so well for you this week? Obviously a win over Casey during the bracket. What has gone so well for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend. Like, I qualified second yesterday with a good score, and I felt like I shot well all eliminations today, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to win, like always. Yeah, like it's always fun.
And on the road in a few weeks to Shanghai, what are the expectations there? You're heading out with the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I hope it'll be really good. I hope it'll be really fun. I'm excited to give it my all, like always, and yeah, hope for the best. And yeah.
Wonderful. Catalina, congratulations
Thanks.
once again. Thank you so much. Catalina Junoriega, the gold medalist for the 2025 Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup. That is match number 5. We've had wins for Olivia Dean, Mike Schlosser, Ava Jones, Brian Way, and Alex Zuleta-Visser. We are looking to move on to the Recurve men gold medal match. It is, few people appreciate this is a sport where there's not a lot of time. If your equipment goes wrong, and we've seen it in a couple of the matches. Ava Jones's equipment malfunction. She had help from Cindy. Some adjustments needed from Catalina there. You've got to have a real sixth sense with your equipment. It's almost part of your body. You need to know what it's saying, how it's behaving, because you haven't got much chance or much opportunity or time to fix things.
Correct. You've got to be able to both hear what's going on with your equipment and be able to feel if it feels different, if something changed. And if you noticed, the Recurve women had a second bow there, so if they had an equipment failure, they could just pick up the second bow and keep shooting.
Yeah. Well, there was no need for the second bow for Catalina. She got through for the gold medal, but a wonderful silver medal for Alex Zuleta-Visser as well, as we bring you the 6th and final game of our gold medal matches at this Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup for 2025. Christian Stoddart on the left-hand side, and Trenton Cowles, the number 5 seed and the number 3 seed, both from California.
Target 2 is Trenton Cowles.
And again, similar to the women, we have the silver medalist from last year, and Christian. Matt Nuffel was the gold medal winner 12 months ago. Trenton Cowles, who is a USAT winner as well, back-to-back at Buckeye 2023 and 2024. Big on the collegiate scene as well. He'll be involved in a few weeks, no doubt, at collegiate target nationals with Texas A&M. But it'll be Trenton Cowles getting us started in this 6th and final gold medal match of the Gator Cup 2025.
Trenton starts us off with an 8.
8 for Trenton, bit of a sighter.
Christian matches him with a 9.
Christian Stoddart, Trenton Cowles, 2 tremendous talents in the recurve division.
Trenton raises him with a 10.
Cowles with a 10, and 2 who, of course, will be very much pushing for a place in the 2028 LA team.
Christian with a 10.
8 and a 10, 9 and a 10. Advantage Christian.
Trenton shoots a 9.
27 for Trenton Cowles.
Christian with a 9.
28 for Christian Stoddart. So 2 points for Christian. 2 up on Trenton Cowles. Again, the set system similar to Barebow, as we've seen in the last 2 divisions, Barebow and Recurve. Christian Stoddart making the World Cup team this year for the first time. Trenton Cowles just missing out on a place at the Olympics last year. The US didn't quite manage the qualifying slots, but he and Jack Williams would have been on that flight to Paris as well. But with the slots guaranteed as the host nation for 2028, it'll be a huge, huge battle with so much talent in the recurve division, men and women, over the next few years. And that push for LA 2028. Some exciting times coming up in the sport of archery over the next few years. As we get set 2 underway. You enjoyed it this week? You had a good week? I mean, how was your form? Pleased, indifferent, dissatisfied? What's your overall reaction?
I had a couple hiccups, but overall it was well.
Those hiccups were fixable?
They're pretty fixable.
Okay.
I just got to work.
Work to do over the next few weeks. Two 9s to get us underway for set number 2.
Trenton with an 8.
Just loosening his body there, Trenton Cowles, just trying to relax himself a little. He knows he's 9 and an 8. He's keeping the door
Christian shoots an
open for Christian, who's just shot an X and has walked straight through that open door. 19 plays 17.
Trenton with a 9.
9, 8 and 9. This for a 4-0 lead for Christian Stoddart.
And Christian with a 9.
And he does so. 4-0, big smile from Christian. A swig of fluids from Trenton, a shake of the head. He knows he's got some work to do to get back into this match. But as you say, with the set system, you've just got to, again, I've just got to win the next 3.
Yep.
Must say, of course, as with Arizona Cup, the organisers, the volunteers, the staff, the officials, first class. Absolutely phenomenal, fantastic, welcoming, wonderful week that we've had here in northern Florida. A couple of hours north of Orlando, a couple of hours west of Jacksonville, Newberry, Florida. And they really put on a fantastic job. And the banners, as you can see, are starting to get a little bit more lively. The stars and stripes in the distance, the windsock, giving these archers something a little extra to think about. 4-0, Christian Stoddart, Trenton Cowles with work to do. Will get us underway, end number 3.
Trenton with a 10.
Okay. Adjustments made. Starts with a 10, does Trenton Cowles, much needed.
Christian matches him with a 10. Trenton shoots a 9.
Okay. A 10 for Christian here would put massive pressure on Trenton Cowles.
Christian matches him with a 9.
Okay, 10, 9, 10, 9. Cowles, you would imagine, would need a 10.
Trenton a 9.
28. A 10 for Christian Stoddart.
Ooh.
Christian with an 8.
An 8. Okay, making things interesting. .28 for Trenton Cowles. 27 for Christian. 4-2. But every time that Trenton Cowles turns around, you get a sense he's not comfortable. There's a grimace, there's a shrug of the shoulders, there's a kind of a look of frustration. How difficult is that to just turn things around, get it out of your head? Or if you know it's the equipment, or if it's your setup or whatever, how much of that gets into your head? And how difficult is it to clear that?
Well, his shots for this last end were not that bad, and it was just a matter of, you know, the grimace is probably that he doesn't like that he's so far back, but he knows he can still do this.
Set system 4-2. Big opportunity there for Christian Stoddart in the last one. Kept this match alive. 4-2 Stoddart. Cowles to start end number 4.
Trenton shoots a 9. Christian shoots an 8.
9 plays 8 after the first arrow of this 4th end.
That's a 10.
Trenton with a 10.
Yeah, from the coach's box pretty swiftly, almost as soon as that arrow was released.
Christian matches him.
Okay, a big arrow from Trenton Cowles here, trying to square things up. It's a long hold.
Trenton with a 9.
28. Well, the best that Christian can do is 28. So that would take us to 5-3.
Christian.
Yep,
with a
that's what he did.
next.
And there we go.
Boys will be on the plate.
It's 5-3. They share the points. So he went, started with an 8 and got back into the groove to Christian. And one thing that impresses me with these young, talented archers is just the mental strength they've got. And Christian is rarely flappable. Same with Trenton. And at this level, we were talking Mike Schlosser earlier, you know, walking away after he'd landed his 72nd arrow, and it was like a walk in the park. You just, again, you can't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. Those emotions have got to be kept in check, and these two guys are very much an example of that. Because they know the next arrow could be a good one if the last one was a bad one, or they could know it could be a bad one if the last one was a good one. It's a sport that can humble you pretty quickly. Here we go for end number 5. 5-3 down. Cowles gets us underway.
Trenton shoots a 9.
A 9. You're just looking at the clock. He normally releases about the 7 or 8 mark. That was about 6.
Christian places the next.
And he had gone down to 3 at one point. Advantage Stoddart. The shoulders.
Trenton matches him with an X.
Shoulders sagging there, but then he lands an X, so not sure what's going through Trenton's mind. He's doing what he can.
Christian shoots an 8.
An 8. 18 plays 19. Opportunity here to take us to a shoot-off.
Trenton shoots a 10.
Okay. We're heading for a shoot-off then. 1 arrow. It's going to be 5-5 after this.
Christian shoots a 9.
So we'll finish as we started with a 1 arrow shoot-off, which we had in the compound women. That was won by Olivia Dean. And we're going to do that with the recurve men at the end of what has been a phenomenal few days here in Florida. We had the World Archery Youth Championships US trials, team trials on Wednesday, mixed teams Thursday, and then we had qualification for the youth categories Friday, eliminations for them Saturday, eliminations for the seniors this morning, qualifications for you guys yesterday. It's been a jam-packed 4 or 5 days, obviously official or unofficial practice on Tuesday as well. So 5-5, we will go to a 1 arrow shoot-off to decide the 2025 Eastern Foundation's Gator Cup gold medalists for recurve men. Campbell Affleck got bronze. Manu knocked out Brady Ellison at the quarterfinal stage. 10 for Cals. Now can Stoddart get closer?
Christian shoots a 9.
A 9 for Christian. So Trenton Cowles is the champion. Christian Stoddart and Trenton Cowles, 2 phenomenal talents in the recurve division. And we will, of course, be hearing about them and seeing them plenty over the next few months and years, wearing the colors of the United States. Christian settling for silver once again, as he did 12 months ago, but he will be on the flight to China next month as part of the World Cup team. As they head to Shanghai, we'll get a word with Trenton Cowles shortly. The gold medalist for 2025. As we mentioned, Buckeye champion, now Gator Cup champion, and Trenton Cowles had to do that the hard way. 4-0 down, taken to a shoot-off as well. Big smiles now, though. And big response from the crowd here at the Eastern Newbury Archery Centre. Posing for the cameras. We'll get Trenton into position and we'll hear from him shortly.
Oh, camera's right here. Okay.
There we go. There we go. Trenton, congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
I dare say you did that the hard way. 4-0 down, took it to a shoot-off. What's going through your mind right now?
Never give up. I mean, just trust your shot, trust the process. I really had to dig deep. I mean, I had tons of nerves up there, and I want to thank everyone who supported me. I mean, Christian shot great, and it was lots of nerves, lots of breathing, really going back to the fundamentals.
And we were talking, Douglas Godfrey and I were talking throughout, you guys are going to be meeting each other, you're going to be teammates over the next few years, the battle for those places at the Olympics in 2028, and I know it's a long way down the road, but these kind of performances, what do they do for you in terms of just that excitement and giving you that sense of how much quality and how much competition you've got in the recurve division?
I mean, I feel the pool's never been deeper right now. We have so many talented archers on the field. Just the level of competition is so high. Christian's been shooting amazing, and to be teammates with him, we're both pushing each other to be better because, I mean, we want to be the best in the world, best country in the world, and what it takes is everyone elevating their game and shooting better. So I'm excited to be shooting alongside him and competing with him at the highest level.
Obviously big names in the recurve division. You guys got to the gold medal match. What were your expectations? How was your week, and how do you feel that your week built over the last few days?
I mean, you always come here with the expectation to win. I mean, I've been putting in the hours, training hard, made some changes from Arizona. Got to get my timing down. Didn't quite execute that exactly how I wanted in the medal match, but I mean, came away with the win, and I'm super excited for that. And I know what to work for China and the future of my career.
And what have you got? Have you got collegiate? Are you going to be there?
Yeah, so I mean, in a week, pretty much, I take off for World Cup 2 in China, and then I get off the plane, get on the collegiate bus, and go to collegiate nationals in about 2 weeks.
What is that transition, that transformation from pulling on the U.S. jersey to pulling on the Texas A&M jersey? How is that as a transformation?
I mean, everything's a team, and I mean, we're going to be pushing Team USA to the top, pushing TAMU Target Archers to the top, and I mean, let's go Texas A&M.
Fantastic. Well, of course, we had a win for Catalina, so you guys are pretty strong this year, and
absolutely.
I'm sure there'll be fantastic competition when we head to Lansing next month. All the best in China. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Trenton.
Thank you. Thank you.
There is Trenton Cowles, the gold medal winner for 2025. So Olivia Dean, Mike Schlosser, Ava Jones, Brian Way, Catalina Genoriega, and Trenton Cowles, your gold medal winners in the senior division. Douglas Godfrey Jr., your thoughts on what we've seen over the last couple of hours? The level of competition, the quality is apparent, and US Archery is in pretty good hands.
Oh yes, the phenomenal level, and I mean, it's it's a lot of young talent. So I mean, they've still got years to continue building through. So I mean, we're looking at some of these men and women coming up and sticking around and helping bring up more behind them. So we're looking strong for a while.
And what about for you over the next few weeks and months? Competitions that you've got lined up? You say you're going to be at SoCal?
I will, yes.
And Buckeye as well? You're going to be at Buckeye?
Correct.
So what are your competitions like? How do you get competition? Do you create competition in between now and then? Or have you got events to go to?
I have a couple 3D tournaments to do locally here in Florida during the next month. And then, of course, one up in Kentucky. And that just helps round me out. So it's not just doing the same thing over and over as far as sight picture. Yeah. But it keeps me working through my shot process better. Helps me with my stress, for when I get to those big moments like this. And with any luck, the paras, we're going down to Mexico this summer, and we're going to come back with some medals from there too.
That's another strong division as well. The paras, phenomenal. And again, we'll have a full team for LA in 2028. Douglas, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure. That's about it from us here in Newbury. Our thanks to our hosts here at the Eastern Newbury Archery Centre, to Jerry and his staff, and to the field crew, officials, volunteers, coaches, parents and athletes, and as we say, to Douglas Godfrey Jr. for sitting alongside me this afternoon, and of course to you for watching. Next stop for us, the 2025 Hotel Planner USA Archery Collegiate Target Nationals live gold medal matches the morning of Sunday, May 18th. Until then, from the Sunshine State, it's goodbye for now.